I want to introduce to everybody a friend of mine. We met through another friend of ours in occupied Portland. Where's Rhonda? Ah, okay. Rhonda introduced me to her sister Lori. This is Lori McMillan. And we ended up in many conversations in the middle of the night, around 3 in the morning. I'd get an email and I'd get an email and I'd answer it really early in the morning, and then she'd reply. And I'm like, why are you awake? And I'm like, it's 3:15 a.m. And she said, this is my time to be awake. So we became fast friends, and I've heard Lori's story. And it's an incredible story about what goes on in this area. And this is the story that needs to be told, because this is the story that, folks, let me tell you, Occupy Tri-Cities confronted us on these stories. This is a story about health in this area, the lack of health in this area. And I want everybody to listen deep to what Lori has to say. Lori, I love you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go and listen to you out here. Okay? Do you need help holding that?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Thanks. First of all, I have to say out here to this lady with this big black dog, I had a dog just like that. That was the love of my life. And that right there is a sign to me that what I'm doing here is exactly what I need to be doing, okay? I have to read this because if I don't, then I'm going to get too emotional about it. And I want to say to my sister, I love you, Rhonda. Okay. I moved to Hermiston, Oregon in 1977. I grew up spending summers at the river, swimming, barbecuing, water skiing. Our drinking water came from local wells, our food from local farms and ranches. The friends I had were from here, and our children were born here. Many of my friends worked for the railroad, others were tradesmen working construction, some at Hanford. We worked hard, we paid our taxes, and we helped others in need whenever we could. We thought life was good. There were 14 of us who were quite close friends, and we spent most of our time together, years in fact, and we considered ourselves family. Today, as I stand here talking to you, I am one of only 4 left. Brain tumors, liver tumors, pancreatic tumors, breast and uterine tumors, all of which were cancerous, claimed the lives of my brothers and sisters. Then 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, which has since spread to my bones, and it's terminal. I'm not alone, though. There are many others I'm aware of. Neighbors and their family members, friends of friends, and countless lives lost and lives affected. I'm certain that those of you listening to me here have also lost loved ones to some form of cancer. And the problem here is you're not going to get the real statistics about how prevalent it is in this area. You're not going to know how long the cases have been increasing in number either. The truth isn't going to be easy to find. But here's the thing, I don't need facts and figures, nor do I expect an admission of guilt. I didn't come here for sympathy. I'm not here to speak as an expert about the effects of radiation. I'm not a scientist, nor am I an environmentalist capable of quoting the EPA acceptable standards for toxins in the air, the water, or the soil. And I don't have a PhD in nuclear physics. I can tell you what I felt like during my years, 4 of them, years of chemotherapy and radiation. I can tell you that it's as close as I ever want to get to what it would be like if we had a major spill here. But in spite of what credentials I don't have and personal experience that I do, that's not why I'm here now. The reason I've come here to share the details of my personal life with you is because I believe that human beings are capable of intelligent solutions. I believe that we are reasonable and thoughtful and naturally compassionate beings. And finally, I'm here because I refuse to give up believing in the existence of human life. My heart is very heavy, and it's full of fear. Even more so now that I've been deemed terminal, but it's not my own life that frightens me or my own death. I hear people say that they would do anything to protect their children. and we as parents are responsible for keeping them safe from harm. For the majority of human beings, it's a natural instinct to put their own well-being at risk to save a child from danger. And while we speak the words, we fail to make them true. My mind struggles to comprehend the ways many of my fellow human beings fail to grasp the nature of what's really at stake. We are so caught up in day-to-day survival, paying our bills, putting food on the table, saving for our kids to go to college, that we don't see what's right in front of us. We read the headlines, watch the news, discuss and debate the pros and cons of nuclear energy, the economic crisis, the ineffectiveness of the government, and how it's become a whore to the 1%. Then we go to bed, get up the next day, and the cycle repeats. This cycle is exactly what they're counting on. The 1% are betting their very existence that the remaining 99% of us will do nothing more than spout out a few half-hearted but angry accusations, and that will be the extent of it. Disgruntled cries here and there, then back to business as usual. That they might be right is what I fear the most. We claim we want our children to have every opportunity for a long and happy life, but do we understand the sacrifices that must be made to ensure it? While we would fight with unbridled savagery and lay down our own lives to protect our child from an attacker, we are simultaneously guilty of standing by while the 1% lay claim to the air, the soil, and the water our children require for their very survival. How can we justify this hypocrisy? We complain about the way things are and yet do little more than spend a couple of hours at a rally holding a sign and chanting the familiar mantras before going back to our lives and going through the motions. Gone is the commitment and the desire to bring that change we all agree on. It's gone from our focus the moment we click on the TV. Smoke and mirrors, the dog and pony show. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You know how it goes. Stop avoiding the truth because you're being distracted with the part of the 1%'s marketing budget. That's how you feed the beast designed to brainwash you into a conformist consumer that continues to line their pockets. But it doesn't have to be that way when you leave here today. We all want our lives to have meant something. We want our children to be proud of who we were and what we left for them. This will be the most precious gift we can give them. This world is their inheritance. I believe we can do better than we have. They deserve a fair chance with a planet that isn't stripped of its resources and full of toxic waste. When we come together in solidarity with our focus being about what we do to protect and preserve this planet, we have the ability to save our children. But first we must make ourselves understand that it goes beyond today. It requires more effort on our part. We have made a difference through the Occupy movement. We must continue to work towards restoring the power to the people and bringing this country back to the place where our representatives actually represented us. Hold them accountable. Stop believing that it's a damn shame and you can't fight the government. Stand up to the very real threats that are going to harm our future generations. Congressional reform is a must. Depersonalizing corporations is imperative. Abolishing the Fed is critical. We know what we must do. We know we have the right. We have the responsibility. And we have the ability because we are the 99%. This quote online, and this is how I'm going to end up here. I don't know who wrote it. It was just signed anonymous, but I thought that was rather fitting, so I decided I would give them credit for it. But it said, at the end of life, what really matters is not what we bought, but what we built. Not what we had, but what we shared. Not only our competence, but also our character, and not only our successes, but also our significance. Live a life that matters. Live a life of love. Thank you.